In Epic, I try to follow a very specific set of rules that allow us to have a consistent experience in the storytelling. For example, in Act 1, we are always following Odysseus, so there are no scenes where Odysseus is not present. This is so that we can experience those scenes from Odysseus' point of view and with the same amount of knowledge of the situation that Odysseus has. But what's fun about establishing rules in Epic is getting to break them later on in exciting ways. For example, I tried to make the writing in such a way that whenever you hear a character, you are actually hearing some form of dialogue, rather than them just singing their thoughts out loud. In Just a Man, when Odysseus is singing, he's not just saying his thoughts out loud, he is talking to the infant. That's why there are lines like, "How could I hurt you?" or "I look into your eyes," or "Close your eyes and spare yourself the view." But did you notice that in the bridge of Keep Your Friends Close, Odysseus just starts narrating the events of the past 9 days? "For 9 days I've stayed wide awake, trying to make it home with no storm or tidal wave." What's interesting is that as this scene plays out, we find out that Odysseus is asleep. Similarly to how it's hard to know when you're in a dream, it's hard to find out when Odysseus fell asleep because he is dreaming. If we rewind right before the bridge to the second chorus, we can actually hear the crewmates saying lines that are not directed straight towards Odysseus, and we can hear words from Aeolus. "Everything's changed since Polites." But what's fun here is that we blur the line between things that Odysseus is genuinely hearing as he's working on the ship, things that he's hearing the other crewmates saying, or maybe things that he's hearing Aeolus say, versus things that he is dreaming about that he may have heard before. And then this leads us to the moment of the "wake up, wake up." Another way we break the rules is the change of the character's perspective in which we are experiencing the story. Since all of Act 1 is from Odysseus' experience, any change from that is a significant event. As you'll see later in Act 2, we end up getting to play as Telemachus, seeing how he tackles certain situations and obstacles, in contrast to Odysseus. Another fun switch-up comes from one of my favorite moments in Act 2, which I like to call the time dive, when Athena dives through Odysseus' memories to find out his location. What's cool about this is that we get just a little glimpse into Athena's thoughts and feelings surrounding Odysseus. But I don't want to spoil anything else in there, so that's all I can say. But one of my favorite changes in the narrative style occurs in Song 38, when Odysseus takes on the suitors. Throughout the show, we've seen Odysseus employing tactics to take on his enemies or his obstacles, but in this song, we get to experience how much of a threat Odysseus is from the suitors' point of view, and he is terrifying. We don't get to hear his planning beforehand, we only get to see the consequences of his actions, making him the final boss. So each different narrative style is with the intention of trying to create a fun little switch-up that still makes sense to the story, hopefully in ways that add to the story or add to our perception of a character.